Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday Night Live. This is Betty Sakosha, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States and team leader for the Power of Positive Inking. It is Tuesday night, the 11th of April in 2023. And this evening I have for you a project that is inspired by something that I saw in the brand new catalog. So if you haven't yet received your brand new catalog, you're probably not a demonstrator. Demonstrators around the world have been able to get a preview, an online preview of the brand new catalog. And many of us have just started to receive it in the past couple days, or at least here on the East Coast anyway. We've started to receive it in the past couple days. If you're not one of those, I am sorry. If you're not a demonstrator, I'm super sorry, but if you're a demonstrator and you haven't received it yet, I am sorry because I know you're all running out to your mailboxes every day to check it out. In any case, the catalog will be arriving to customers soon-ish. They're being, or my customers anyway, I chose to use the mailing selector, which means that it gets mailed from Stampin' Up! Directly to you. So, not exactly sure when it will get to you, but hopefully in the next couple weeks you will be receiving that in your mailbox. And if I have a heads up when it's coming, I definitely will let you know. At this point, I'm not exactly sure, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks. In any case, the catalog, I can't show you what's inside it yet. I have to wait until it goes live, which is May 2nd, I think. Yes, May 2nd. And if you receive it, then you can look up exactly what I'm talking about. But there is a new, it's not new. I'm using a current Stampin' Up! Set that I have. It's what I'm going to share with you tonight. It's called Bottled Happiness. And I chose to do that because everything that I've been trying to show lately has been sold out by the time I get to actually make a video with it. So I said, I am just going to move on and move into things that I know will be available in the new catalog. So definitely what I'm going to show you tonight is available moving forward. That said, there are lots of things right now that are on sale through Stampin' Up! That are retiring soon. Many things are selling out, but some things that are not yet sold out are on a very, very big discount. So I would advise you to certainly check them out, see what you can find that you need. But what I'm going to show you tonight is moving forward to the new catalog, so this will be available moving forward. Hello, Jackie. Hello, Maureen. Okay, I'm going to flip you down and get started. Okay, so this is the new catalog that I'm talking about that I cannot show you. I can show you the cover. I think it's really pretty. I think Maureen actually had different ideas on it, but I think it's pretty because it's got a lot of color on it. And this year is the year of the color refresh, which is partly what I'm talking about tonight. So here's my information. Should you need to contact me, there it is there. But let me get started with what I'm going to tell you about from this catalog. These up here are things that I'm copying the cards from. These over here are the things that I must get immediately. So I can't open it up, but if you have your catalog, I'm going to pull it over here so nobody can see. On page 98 is where the inspiration for tonight's project came from. And it features the Bottled Happiness Bundle. Now, I wanted to tell you that if you're interested in the Bottled Happiness, it currently exists as a bundle, which means you save 10% if you get the stamp set and the punch that goes with it. If you wait until May 2nd when the new catalog comes out, you'll be able to buy both items, but they won't be bundled together, so you won't save the 10%. So if you do find that, yes, this is absolutely something I need, then I would recommend you do it sooner rather than later so that you can save some money on that. All right, so this is what I'm using tonight. I saw a really cool card, and I liked how it looked like champagne, right? Because in my mind, this was a vase, or a big vase, or a bottle of moonshine or something, a bottle of wine. I definitely saw a bottle of wine here. But the way that Stampin' Up! Used it in the new catalog, it kind of had that look of being champagne or some kind of sparkly, popping, carbonated beverage coming out of there. And I thought it looked really cool. So that's how I based my card tonight. Now, last week I used these deckled rectangles, and I used them in combination, right? So if you're interested, you can go back and look at that. But I used these two together so that I made myself a frame. So in doing that, I ended up with a bunch of middle pieces from that frame and said, what can I do with those? So that's what I'm using tonight, were the middle pieces from that frame. So this is from the deckled edge. This is not the smallest, but one of the smaller deckled rectangles. Okay, so this is how I'm going to start my image. Actually, it's not how I'm going to start, because I need to... Is this it? Yeah, here it is. Okay, I need to actually make my template for my shooting champagne. And so I'm using the Stampin' Up! Masking paper to do this. This is what I've chosen to do it with. If you don't have this or don't have the ability to get it, and really need to make this project right away, you could do something similar if you had those big Post-it note things that are all sticky on the back. But I think that this technique really works well with the Stampin' Up! Masking paper. So there it is. There's the number for it, 155480, and it will be continuing into the new catalog as well. So what I'm going to do is to start with my image. I'm taking this from the very beginning to show you how I created my card. So I'm taking my image. This is a photopolymer stamp set, and photopolymers definitely work better if you've got a little squish factor under them. So for my squish factor, I have chosen the Stampin' Up! Paper piercing mat. Just going to put that underneath there, and I am going to stamp on my how do I want to do that? I'll do it this way. Okay, so I'm stamping on my masking paper. So I cut my masking paper down. So it's, I don't even know, let's see, it is like 2 3/4 by 3 3/4 inches. And then I'm going to take a pair of scissors, pair of snips, and I'm going to cut out the part, the champagne shooting part. Okay, so I'm just cutting into my, like champagne would shoot out, right? I'm cutting into my masking paper, like so, and then right off there. Come on. Okay, so I cut this part off. Ooh, looks like a pair of briefs or a bathing suit. But this is what I want, because this is where my champagne is going to shoot out. Okay, now I'm going to peel off the back of this. And with the way that I have prepped this paper, it's easier said than done. Oh, here we go. Okay, so now this part right here is sticky. I'm gonna show you like just on my shirt, but I would hold it against my jeans or any kind of surface, because sometimes this is a little too sticky. So I'm just picking up just enough lint to keep it less sticky so that the next step is easier. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my actual image, or my actual surface that I'm going to stamp on. And I will start with my detail piece here. And I'm using Granny Apple Green. And I'm going to come right in from the side. You know what? I'm not doing it on that. What am I talking about? I'm sorry about that. I'm going to do it right here. I'm going to do it on my scrap paper here. I stamped that in Granny Apple Green straight out. So that is full strength. And now I'm going to take my bold image of the bottle, and I'm going to place this right on top. I find it easier to stamp the detail image first and then do the bold image on top. So let me see if I can show you that. And then what you end up with here, well, it's a little wonky, right? Okay, so let me show you what I find easier, and let's see if it's easier this time. Okay, so that is full strength of the detail. Now, full strength of the bottle. Let's hope this works this time, which actually is going to create, yeah, that's way better. Okay. So by doing full strength of the detail first and full strength of the bottle, you get like super strength of the detail. Does that make sense? Like it was full strength and then I added full strength, so it's like super espresso. Usually I call, when you stamp off, I call that decaf. So a lot of times what I'll do is this, is stamp this full strength, and then I will take my bottle, I'll show you an example, and I'll put it on my scrap paper, and then I'll put it on here in what I call decaf. So it comes out much later, right? So this is full strength and decaf to give you this look. This one here was full strength on top of full strength, which actually gives you like espresso. That's what I call it. Okay, so that's it. I got my bottle here. Any of those methods will work, but that's the one that I've chosen. Let's get those out of the way. All right, I'm going to punch out this one in the middle using my bottle punch. Like, come on. There we go. There we go. So there's my bottle. Here, we'll turn this over so you don't get confused by my fake bottle. Okay, now I'm going to put my bottle is going to be like right about there on my deckled rectangle, about there. So I'm taking my image. What'd I do with it? Okay, my masked image that I previously cut out, I'm going to put down right about in the same area. Close enough is good for this. And now I've got this kind of look right here. Okay, so this is where my champagne is going to go shooting out. You know what? I am going to actually move that up a smidge because I think my bottle is going to be too low. So because I'm using the masking paper, I am able to lift it back up. Carefully, mind you, but I am able to lift it up. So let's pretend that that is closer to about there, which would put this right about here. Okay, that's good. Now, can you see I've got this tiny little corner here? I have learned previously that that could be trouble. So I am going to use a little Post-it note. Hang on one second. Just grab my little Post-it note. I'm just going to put my little Post-it note over here because I learned that if I don't cover it, I run into trouble, and I can tell you about that later. All right, so now I'm going to take Berry Burst. If you are old school, you might remember Berry Burst. This was around a number of years ago. It's been a little while since it's been around, but it's coming back as a new color for stamp, not a new color, a returning color. A fan favorite, as it were. So that's coming out in the new catalog, and that's what I chose to use tonight for this. So it's Granny Apple Green and Berry Burst that I'm using. So to create my champagne-like look, I have my mask on my paper. I'm going to take a blending brush. You could also use a sponge if you wanted. I'm just going to put a little bit on here so it's not quite so harsh when I start this. I'm going to start very light and then add a little more pressure to it until I get my desired shooting champagne look. Or bubbly of some sort. Okay, I think I'm going to call it there. Now, the image that you see, when you get your catalog, or if you have your catalog, you can look it up. But I believe I said it was on page 98. But they use some different kind of extra stuff, kind of in the shooting bubbly look. But I don't have that stamp yet, and so I chose this one right here. Now this is actually from Seaside Bay, this stamp set right here. And it's the sand image from Seaside Bay. But many, many Stampin' Up! Stamps have kind of this little, I don't know, splotchy, sandy, speckled background. So any of those would do, but this is the one that I chose here from the Seaside Bay. So I'm going to stamp right into my Berry Burst, and I'm going to kind of have it shoot out like so. There we go. Excellent. All right, now let me take this off so you can see what this looks like. And I will keep this, and I will continue, I will put it right inside of my, in the same container as my Bottled Happiness, and I'll be able to use it again. All right, so my bottle is going to be right about there, shooting out like that. And I need a cork. Going to need a cork and a label for my bottle. So I'm going to bring in my Daffodil Delight. So this card is super bright. This is not a subtle one, that's for sure. And I'm going to stamp my label right there. And I'm going to stamp my cork in Crumb Cake. I don't know if you heard the tragic news, but soft suede is going away, which really could be the toughest one for me, soft suede going away. But good news, Crumb Cake is staying. But if you want soft suede, I don't even know if it's still available at this point, but if it is, you get it right away. Okay, so here, here's my label and my cork. And I have previously cut those out, so you didn't have to watch me do that. Because you do have to fussy cut those, but it's pretty easy to do so. Okay, so there are those parts. All right, I'm going to put, oops, I got my adhesive. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to put my label on the bottle using green glue. Like that. And then I'm going to put this, let me grab my dimensionals. I'm going to put this on, oh, you know what, before we go any further, let's do this. I'm going to grab, there's a greeting in here called Sending Cheer, and I'm going to use that on my wine label. And I'm doing this now before I should have put it even before I got this far, but I'm going to definitely put it on before I use dimensionals, because that's where things go downhill. Hopefully this works. Sure. Perfect. Okay. Sending cheer. All right, so now I've got my dimensionals that I'll put on the back of my bottle. And come right up to where this is, champagne is flying. And then I'm going to use another dimensional. I actually, oh yeah, this will work. I got one last baby dimensional here, and actually it does fit on the back of the cork. If you don't have the baby dimensionals, you can just cut up a larger dimensional and it will fit on here, but it definitely looks better with dimensionals. Okay, so the cork is flying off like so. La. Okay. To finish up the card, I'm going to use the colors that are in the card. So I'm using Granny Apple Green and Daffodil Delight. Oh, I didn't show you. Oh, I guess I didn't show you. But because the way I cut this out and there was a little spot showing right here, if I didn't put my Post-it note on top of that, when I was doing one previously and I was using my blending brush, I actually blended over that area as well and made a mess. Wasn't good. Wasn't good. So that's why I just cover up everything that I can in order to avoid that. All right, so let's put this on Granny Apple Green. These are all cut out using the deckled rectangles. You could actually just, if you don't own deckled rectangles, just cut out rectangles. That would work fine. The stitched rectangles are going away. If you have those, that would work as well. Any kind of rectangle shape will give you what you're looking for here. All right, so there is sort of where I'm at this point. All right, the next thing I want to show you is creating my, using my embossing folder. So the embossing folder that I want to use for this is this one here, and it's called Splatters. It's Splatters and Stripes and Splatters, I believe, are the two that come together. And they are half size embossing folders. So they don't go through the big, or they have to go through, no, let me take that back. You can use them with the baby boss, but they only show a half of, on there. There we go. Okay. They only, they won't fill an entire piece of cardstock. So this layer is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and this won't cover the whole thing. But I want the whole thing covered with this. So let me show you how I get around that. I'm going to put the embossing folder, I'm going to put my paper in the embossing folder. And I'm going to put it through my big shot, or my embossing machine. Let me see if I can show you how I'm doing this. Okay, I am going to put my top layer. So this is a 3D folder, so I'm just using my gray layer here on top. I'm going to put it kind of close to right here. Okay, I'm not going to cover that completely, and I'm not going to be short of that. I'm just going to put it kind of close to where the end of the folder is. And when I run it through my embossing machine, I'm not going to go all the way through. I'm going to stop right there. Can you see? Right there is where the edge of my embossing folder is. Or it is the edge of my embossing folder. It's also the edge of my top plate. And now I'm going to back it up like this. And when I take this out, you will see that half of this paper is embossed. This half here is not embossed, but there's no solid line across it. Then I'm going to take my folder, whoops, take my folder, put the other half of this paper in, and do the exact same thing. So I'm going to put this in. Pull this out here. Okay, put this in as far as my paper goes. Okay, my pen ends right, oh, you can't see that. There we go. My paper ends right there. That's where my paper ends. So that's where I'm going to bring the gray top embossing folder. And I'm going to put it through only as far as that gray, whoops, only as far as that gray goes, right there. And then I'm going to back it up again. And when I take it out, when I take it out, that didn't work. I put it in the wrong way. Sorry. Let me go ahead and put it through again. Okay. I'm going to go only as far as that embossing, as far as that edge goes. And I'm not going to push further. If I push further, you hear that kind of snap noise. But this allows the whole image to be embossed without getting that line. So let me show you an example of, so if you do it wrong, if you go through and you go past until it kind of snaps, then you get this line here. I don't know if you can see that. It's not that noticeable. It's not that big a deal, but for some of you, it will be a big deal. So to get around that, you only go as far as that top plate goes, and then when you're done, you have this kind of seamless embossed look. And it works really well for something like this because this kind of has an all-over pattern and it's not really specific. If you did have something that was maybe like a plaid or gingham or something like that, this would be much more difficult for this. But for this one, this works out just fine. All right, so let's finish up this card. I lost all my parts. Okay, so this is going to go right on here. Like so. Yeah, I was just looking to see if I was putting it on the indent as opposed to the outdent. Okay, and then I'm going to put the whole thing on a piece of thick white cardstock, and I am going to use dimensionals for this. So let me stick a few of these on. Okay. Let's peel all these off. And place this down like so. Okay, to put some words on this card, it does say sending cheer, but to put some other words on this card, I'm going to use just a tiny strip of this leftover. As you cut up your cardstock, you often end up with this 1/2 inch piece. If you're making, if you're cutting down some layers, you often end up with the 1/2 inch piece. So that's what I've got here, and I'm going to use the greeting for another greeting for this set that says, "Let's get into the spirit." So I am just stamping this directly onto this little 1/2 inch strip. And this is Berry Burst cardstock and Berry Burst ink. Let me bring it down here. And I am just going to use scissors to cut this up. So I'm going to do, let's get into the spirit. And I'm just cutting this off like this. This is kind of a trendy thing right now where you just have kind of, I don't know. In the olden days, they were like, people used to cut these letters out of magazines, right? You remember that? That's old. That's like in the 70s. It's a long time ago. But now, you just stamp your little tiny images here. Like so. Let's get into the spirit. And I'm going to glue this on with my green glue. This is super for green glue because it gives you a lot of wiggle room if you're not happy with how it's come out. Let's get into the spirit. Let's put that under there. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. All right, and finally, I'm just going to add some bling to this. So these are the pastel adhesive backed sequins. They come in blue, pink, and gold. So I'm going to use the pink, pink-hued ones here. And they come in large and small. Whoops. There we go. So I'm going to pick couple large, couple small, and maybe one more there, and one more here. Yeah, I'm unsure of this one here. I'm overthinking this for sure. But there we go. Okay. There we go. Let's get into the spirit. All right, these are also continuing into the new catalog as well, so they will also be available. All right, so let me pull in a couple of other examples that I have. Let me get rid of all my dimensional backs. Those, yeah, they're everywhere. If you've been with Stampin' Up! Any amount of time, you found those in a weird spot, that's for sure. Okay, so let me show you a couple other different color combinations that I have here. So this was Berry Burst, the new returning Berry Burst, Daffodil Delight in Garden, nope, Granny Apple Green. This one here is Blackberry Bliss with the berry and Lost Lagoon, also a returning color, so that's coming back shortly as well. And one final other color combination, and this is Pretty Peacock, Coastal Cabana, and Old Olive. And for this one, I used some of the blue sequins from the same pack. So there we go. Three different cards with three different kinds of shooting champagne. I actually think I prefer these here that shoot out a little bit straighter as opposed to this one that looks like it's going to make a much bigger mess. But in any case, there they are. There they are. All right, let me flip you around. Chat with you quickly. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Nope, that's the rest of my room. What's going on? There we go. Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, so that's still available. It's going to be available in the new upcoming catalog, which should be on your doorstep within the next couple weeks. The bundle is called Bottled Happiness. I'm entitling this card Unbottled Happiness, with shooting carbonated beverage of your choice. Always means a party, right? It's not a party until they're shooting carbonated beverage. In any case, that is available, but it is available as a bundle until May 1st only. So if you are interested in it, I would get it sooner rather than later. While you're getting it, be sure to take a look at the last chance list, because there are many, many items on the last chance list that are not going to be available, and many of those are also on sale. Many are also selling out, so you also want to think about that. But while you're on there shopping, you can also look at the clearance rack, which is kind of separate from the last chance list, as well as items that are continuing into the new catalog. You can add them all together on an order. If you are a demonstrator of mine, you can go directly to my website at bettyboop.stampinup.net. And if you have another demonstrator, check in with them, and they will let you know how to find their stuff on their website. All right, if you do have any questions, please leave a comment. I'd be happy to help you out. I will be back next Tuesday, which will be that calendar's entirely too far away. I don't know, 7 days from now. Today is the 11th, so the 18th. I'll see you then on the 18th. But if you have any questions in the meantime, please be in touch. I'd be happy to help you out. Thanks again. Have a good week. Bye.